Guys, what is going on with Sergio Perez? Following the sprint race in Qatar, where Sergio Perez finished dead last, I think this is the question that's on everyone's mind. The sprint race didn't go well for Perez, as right out of the gate, starting from the pit lane, he was passed by Colapinto when he didn't recognize that the light had turned green. And the sprint race didn't really get better for Perez, as he had to pit for a new front wing. Maybe something had gone wrong, we're not sure at this point, but he was just nowhere near anyone else in the field. I think the real problem for Perez is that this isn't really a one-off situation anymore where you can say, maybe he's not comfortable with the car, maybe it's the mental aspect of it. He has put in consistently poor performances, unfortunately, that have seen him not even competing with the top four teams or really even the midfield, but competing with back markers for results. For example, his last 8 qualifying results are 16th in Qatar for the sprint, 16th in Las Vegas, 13th in Brazil, 13th in Brazil for the sprint, 18th in Mexico, 10th in Austin, 11th in Austin for the sprint, and 13th in Singapore. Now, when you compare that to his teammate Max Verstappen, who just won the Drivers' Championship, albeit Red Bull did struggle towards the end of the year, these performances just don't make sense, as Perez has struggled throughout the entirety of this year and even in the back half of last year. Something doesn't make sense. Now, amidst all this, there are also rumors that the Red Bull board will decide Sergio Perez's fate after the race in Abu Dhabi. There's even been speculation that he'll be demoted to RB. Now, Sergio Perez has denied all this, saying he has a contract for next year, and basically denies these rumors and says he won't be demoted, and his place in Red Bull is secured for next year. So this really brings up questions about his power within the team, the value he brings to the team, and sort of what financial benefit Red Bull has for keeping him. Because now, with Max winning the championship and Perez being so far back, it's jeopardized and actually cost them the Constructors' Championship, and that's just not a sustainable situation for Red Bull. It's going to cost them millions of dollars for next year's championship and development, already in a season where we've seen 3 teams, being Ferrari, McLaren, and Mercedes, all catching up and sort of converging on Red Bull. And next year's championship will be even more competitive, as it's the final year of the regulations. I think what's even more puzzling is just the treatment Red Bull has given other drivers in the past, whether it be Gasly, Albon, Kvyat, where they've had very short leashes relative to what's been afforded to Perez. So it really makes you wonder, is that monetary value Perez is bringing in outweighing his performances? But with Red Bull dropping to potentially 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, I think any financial benefit Perez brings relative to other drivers is really going to be mitigated or lost completely. I think it's even exposed some of the power dynamic in Red Bull, where you have voices like Helmut Marko, who's an advisor to Red Bull and a pretty powerful figure within the team, consistently voicing his displeasure with Perez's performance, whereas Christian Horner throughout the year has offered support to Perez, but then also more recently acknowledged that in order for Red Bull to maintain its competitiveness, they need 2 drivers in the fight. And like we said, if things get more competitive next year with 4 teams really competing for both the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship, if Red Bull has any hopes of Max retaining his title, then they're going to need a second car up there to support, much like Lewis Hamilton had Valtteri Bottas. They need a good second driver to support him in that title fight. So what do you guys think? Do you think Sergio Perez should retain his seat for next year? Why do you think Red Bull has kept Sergio Perez on as a second driver? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.